In-house है in-house. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Welcome to this exclusive fortnightly session on Pioneering Tomorrow, Technology, Innovation, and Scientific Social Responsibility, specifically tailored for students from grades 3rd to 12th. It's a pleasure to have each of you with us join today. I'm Aniket Arora, your moderator for this session, and I am honored to guide you through today's exciting and insightful topic. Before we delve into the content, I want to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for being here. Your participation truly enriches this gathering and evaluates the experience of everyone involved. In today's session, we have our key speaker, Dr. Parth Sarathy-Pal, presently working as a senior scientist at CSIR, Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute, Durgapur, posted at Knowledge and Technological Management Group. He will lead this workshop on Pioneering Tomorrow, Technology, Innovation, and Scientific Social Responsibility, where he will be covering key topics in science and technology. He will explore the history of science and technology in India, differences between invention and innovation, output versus outcome, intellectual property rights, also compare corporate social responsibility with scientific social responsibility, and various other things that we'll get to know during the session. This workshop is designed to equip students with a deeper understanding of these essential concepts, preparing them to contribute meaningfully to the future of science and technology. So let's get started on this journey towards transforming our lives through the power of science and technology. Feel free to ask questions and share your experiences as we go along. Your insights and curiosity will make this session even more valuable for all of us. Well, for those of you who are new to this platform, I would like to inform you that CAMP, the Knowledge and Awareness Mapping Platform, is not just an initiative. It is a commitment to bridging the gap between education and practical application. Our mission is to cultivate a scientific mindset among students while nurturing their hidden talents. I would also like to mention that apart from these online knowledge sharing sessions, CAMP also organizes various quiz competitions as well as scientific excursions for students. The excursions provide the students a unique opportunity to delve into the world of science, technology, and innovation. They are aimed to instill a passion for scientific exploration and discovery within the students. Don't miss out the opportunity to visit various prestigious labs and organizations like CSIR, ISRO, DRDO, and many others. If you would also like to participate in such excursion and get a chance to explore, discover, and engage with various scientific disciplines in real-world setting at various eminent CSR laboratories or research organizations in India, then do check out the link below to learn more about how you can participate. For any support, you can even get in touch with our team through the given helpline number in the chat box. For further information and resources, please visit our website or contact us at the given number. Stay connected for more such enlightening sessions. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Parth Sarathy-Pal to begin our session. Dr. Parth Sarathy-Pal joined CSR CMERI in 2016 as a scientist and has a vast experience in the field of renewable energy, hybrid renewable energy sources, and computational techniques for optimization. He is an alumni of NIT Durgapur and has published many journals and conference papers in the field of communication and signal processing. Presently, he is engaged in evaluation, release of technologies at CSIR CMERI Durgapur. He is also MSME Nodal Officer at CSIR CMERI Durgapur for looking after various activities at the institute. He is in charge of Central Research Facility, a centralized research facility comprising of various analytical instruments at the institute. Today, he will guide us through comprehensive exploration of key topics crucial for you to understand as we navigate the evolving landscape of science and technology. The session will cover the rich history of science and technology in India, the critical interplay between academia, industries, and industrial research, and the foundational concepts in science, engineering, and technology. We will also delve into the commercialization of technology, the importance of benchmarking and technology readiness levels, and the pivotal role of R&D organization. Additionally, Dr. Pal will differentiate between invention and innovation, discuss the nuances of output versus outcome, and explain the significance of intellectual property and intellectual property rights. The session will further compare corporate social responsibility with scientific social responsibility, showcase case studies from India's innovative landscape, and explore the distinction between artificial intelligence and augmented intelligence. I encourage all of you to actively participate, ask questions, and share your thoughts during the session. Your engagement is crucial to making this a fruitful and dynamic discussion. Well, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Parth Satyapal.
Thank you, Aniket, for. Is it audible? Is my voice is audible?
Yes, sir, your voice is audible.
Yeah. So, welcome all the students to this nice session. Basically, thank you, Aniket, for introducing me, and I would like to thank CAMP because it is a great initiative from. Basically, it is a consortium between CSIR and CAMP, so that they can arrange different sessions, mean scientific sessions, to enlighten students or to ignite our little minds of the country. So today, basically, I am focusing the journey of the science and technology in India. So basically, I'll start from the historical perspective of the science and technology in India. Then ultimately, I will conclude at the present scenario in India, how the science and technology is evolving from the past, and what is the need-based science and technology, and how, as a student, you can contribute to your society by some scientific and technological intervention. So for that purpose, I have designed this session in such a way, from the history to till date, you will be able to know the journey of the science and technology in India, establishment of various research institute in India, how the industry is evolved, how the academia institutes has been evolved, and what is the benefit of industrial research in India. So that in near future, when you will be in suppose in bachelor's level or BTech level or engineering, you will be pursuing your graduation, then ultimately will be a clear-cut vision that what will be your career path, what will be your goal, and what will be your responsibility at the same time. So is the screen is visible too?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. So actually, yeah. So now, so this is the first slide that is basically mentioning the history of science and technology in India. And probably you all know that India has a very glorious and very rich history in the field of science and technology, starting from the Vedic period. So you probably all know that Aryabhatta was the main founder who basically invented the use of zero. The concept of zero was proposed by an Indian scientist called as Aryabhatta. Then ultimately all the medicinal and health related Ayurveda technology, then ultimately defense related technology, then architectural and civil related technology, this total technological base or knowledge base was basically initiated in India. So that's why if you study the history or the civilization of the whole world, then ultimately you can see that the main concept of science and technology, the oldest concept of science and technology is basically originated from the Indian region. So that's why in the medical science, especially in the field of mathematics and in astronomy, India has a glorious past. Then ultimately, this particular, with this glorious past, ultimately India has gone through some phases, like different phases India has gone through different phases, and science and technology has evolved in India in different way. Now, starting from the Vedic area, if we so-called enter into the modern India, means it is about 100 to 150 years back from our independence, then ultimately we will be able to know that India has a very keen interest towards development of science and technology in that period when we were under the supervision of British India. So first, in this initiation, you probably know that Trigonometrical Society of India was a very fantastic idea of then the scientific community under British India, that basically calculated the latitude and longitude of the different parts of the country. Then ultimately this particular Trigonometric Society of India, later it is called as the Great Trigonometric Survey of the India in 1818. Then another very important idea generated by Mr. Ramchandra in the year of 1820. 1860, he was born in 1821. So in the region of 1860, basically he was the first scientist or the scientific mind frame who basically realized to use the English medium or the English language for learning of scientific and industrial research in India. Then ultimately, if we go further, then there was another eminent person who called as Rajendralal Mitra. He was the first president of the Asiatic Society, who was first realized that India should have some practical training aspect, because you know that India is very rich in calculation, very rich in basic science, but what is the need of practical research? That was first felt by Mr. Rajendralal Mitra. And then after realizing this, he was first established one society that was called as the Asiatic Society. And that Asiatic Society was basically responsible for doing practical training. Means whatever you are learning from the textbook or you are learning theoretically, ultimately that particular theoretical knowledge should be converted into the practical research so that it can be utilized in a bigger way in our society. That is the main motivation of the science and technology of India as well as the world. So ultimately, if your science and technology is restricted in books only or in the theoretical part only, then ultimately it will not be help to the society in any way. So ultimately, what will be the goal of you also? That ultimately how the theoretical knowledge can be converted into the practical knowledge. So in this aspect, Rajendralal Mitra was first realized that there should be need of some practical training or practical realization of the theoretical concept so that the science can be converted into the technology. So similarly, in the another very important body was formed in the year of 1891, and that was called as Botanical Survey of India. So those who are basically interested in botany or in chemical research, they can see that India has a very rich journey or history starting from 80s or 1890, and it was created a Botanical Survey of India for doing research or doing study in the field of Indian flora. Next, this particular time frame means 1850 to 90. This particular time frame was very crucial for Indian science and technology. And you will probably know that the first research or fundamental research institute of India was established in Kolkata in the year of 1876, and the name of that particular research institute is Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. Means in this particular time frame, India was first realized that there should be some institute. There should be some institute where scientist or researcher can pursue their research to further technological development that will create a havoc impact in the science or technology of the world as well as Indian scenario. So Indian Association of Cultivation of Science was a very pioneering institute in this particular domain, and it was the first oldest fundamental research institute of India. And you'll be glad to know that Dr. C.V. Raman or Sir C.V. Raman basically performed the experimental work at Indian Association of Cultivation of Science, and for that he basically discovered one phenomenon that is called as Raman effect. You probably know the Raman effect means when light is basically passing through a matter, so ultimately it is scattered and the light energy is basically transferred to the energy of the matter. So this particular effect is called as the Raman effect, and for the discovery of this Raman effect, Sir C.V. Raman awarded Nobel Prize in 1930, and he has done his experimental work at Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. And also it is glad to inform you that Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, J.C. Bose, and Prafullo Chandra Rai was the first level lecturer of IACS or Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. And there was another history that when Jamsetji Tata was traveling from Yokohama to Vancouver, Swami Vivekananda met him in a ship. And Swami Vivekananda was very keen to way forward the scientific or technical intervention or technical study in India, and that's why he suggested Jamsetji Tata that you should form one educational institute at India so that the researcher or the students can have a world-class facility at India. So that's why Indian Institute of Science or IISc Bangalore, you probably know that this is the topmost institute in India in the field of basic research and as well as translating research. So with this inspiration, Jamsetji Tata formed Indian Institute of Science. Basically, it is called as the Tata Institute of Research also in the year of 1911. And Jamsetji Tata was the first person who realized that the industrial revolution must be initiated in India so that the resources or the scientific resources as well as the material resources can be converted into a product so that society can be served in a huge way. So that's why this particular two institute, that is IACS and IISc Bangalore, is one of the pioneering institute of India and as well as one of the oldest academic institute of India. Then we always, it is our duty that we study about the life of the great scientists like Meghnad Saha, Jagadish Chandra Bose, and Chandrasekhar C.V. Raman, so that we can get some inspiration from their journey, that how selflessly they contributed to the society without thinking of something in return. So being a scientist, our responsibility to our society should be in such a way that we will not think much about our personal benefit. We will always place the societal benefit top of our personal benefit. So that's why these scientists dedicated their whole life. Dr. Saha, Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, Sir C.V. Raman dedicated their whole life for scientific revolution of India. Similarly, you probably know that in the field of mathematics, Sir Ramanujan has contributed tremendously. S.N. Bose also tremendously contributed in the field of quantum mechanics. And Sir Chandrasekhar also contributed in the mathematical theory of black hole, but he also got Nobel Prize. But when he got the Nobel Prize, he was he got the citizenship of America. So he is not counted as an Indian scientist to get Nobel Prize. And you probably know that Sir S. Chandrasekhar is basically nephew of Sir C.V. Raman. Now, so this is basically the brief of the history of science and technology in India. Then ultimately, so you probably, it is clear to you that to excel in scientific and technological path, ultimately three nodes are very important. What are these three nodes? One is academic institutes, another is industry, and in between academic institute and industry, there are some institutes which are called as the research institute or the industrial research institute. So ultimately, how that altruistic or selfless scientific intervention has converted into the industrialization, that you should think. In the area or in the time frame of 90s, science and technology was for societal benefit, or science and technology was for the upliftment of the society. So that's why you probably know that Sir J.C. Bose was first discovered the phenomenon of wireless transmission or wireless communication, but he refused to file a patent. Why? Because he realized that science and technology should be open to all, because the motivation of science and technology is to motivate or is to uplift the society. There should not be any kind of personal attachment to it. So that's why he refused. He refused to file the patent for his invention or for his experimentation on wireless communication. And later you know that Marconi has filed the patent and the credential gone to Marconi, not J.C. Bose. Similarly, Professor Meghnad Saha or Sir Meghnad Saha, throughout his life, he has dedicated his life towards the upliftment of the society, and he served the society in such a way so that the backward class of the society can be uplifted, because he was also from the representative of the backward class of then and then India. So ultimately, it is our duty to differentiate between these three nodes. That is, what are the academic institute, what are the industry, and what is the function of research institute in between this. So in the academic institute, ultimately research or basic research is carried out. Means ultimately some theoretical studies are going on, and through some theoretical study you will do some experimentation, and through some experimentation you will just publish your idea, you will publish your basic concept, you will publish your new concept to the world, and that basic research is basically confined in the academic institute, and different IIT, NIT is categorized as the academic institute, where you can join. You have a target that everyone should, as an engineering field, in the field of engineering, everybody is targeting that we pursue my engineering either from the IIT or some good NITs. So that's why these particular institutes are called as the academic institute, where the research is basically carried out in the basic level. And as a step jump, what are the meaning of industry? While a full furnished product is basically the outcome of the agency. Mean from the industry, you are getting a full furnished product. Full furnished product means ultimately that particular product, which is basically I am just using at my the product is basically utilized in the society level in the common masses. So how the academic basic research is converted into the industry grade research or industry grade product? There is one kind of institutes that is called as the research institute or the industrial institute, research institute, basically creating the bridge between the academic institute and the industrial research or the industry. They are basically converting the basic research or the basic idea into a commercialized product. So that's why the importance of industrial research in India is very important. So now from this particular slide, you will be able to see that in the left side, the science, basically whatever you are studying from the scientific, some equations, some theory, some equation, basic theory, you are just learning in the academic institute, and probably in the practical session or the experimentation phase, that basic particular science is going through some experimentation, and that particular exercise is carried out in the academic institute. So what is basically industry is doing? Industry is nothing but a profit making organization. So that's why the main motivation of the industry is to make profit. So that's why they are selling the full-fledged tested product to the common masses. For example, you are using mobile phone nowadays. So ultimately, a smartphone or a mobile phone is a full-fledged furnished product that is belonging to the industry. But in some way, if you study that, the basic concept was evolved from the academic institutes. But there is a zone that is called as the gray zone or the Death Valley. Means how that basic research is converted into the industrial grade product. That particular exercise has been taken care of by the Industrial Research Institute or the Research Institute. Okay. Means ultimately whatever basic concept you have developed, whatever basic concept you have developed in your academic institute, ultimately through some design, development, prototype development, testing, and ultimately rigorous testing and validation, through this kind of phases, ultimately a basic concept is converted into the industry grade concept. Okay. So next slide will be very important to justify the previous slide. So in the post-independent scenario or the near timeline independent scenario, India was first realized that the importance of the industrial research. So the industrial research, in this particular endeavor, in the year of 1942, 20th September, Dr. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, he was the eminent scientist of India, was established one of the premium institute in India, R&D Institute of India, that is called as Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, that is called as CSIR. So what is the goal of CSIR? The main goal of the CSIR was to convert the basic research into the industrial grade research, so that it can contribute to the economy of India directly or indirectly. So in this endeavor, total 37 laboratories are formed in India, including 39 outreach center, 3 innovation center, and 5 units across the India. So CSIR is one of those organizations who is basically targeting or touching each and every scientific and technical domain of the existing modern India or modern world. Probably chemical technology, aeronautical technology, mechanical technology, engineering, then chemical science, physical science, then genomic study, Glass Ceramic Research Institute, chemical biology. So each and every field, there is a particular CSIR laboratory. So if you study the passage of CSIR, so ultimately you will see that CSIR is basically dedicated to uplift the society from its beginning. So in this endeavor, it is pertinent to mention that the CSIR first developed one indigenous technology, that was very important. I will detail discuss this particular about this technology in later half. That particular technology is Swaraj. This is the first indigenous tractor that was developed by CSIR in the year of 1974. And this particular Swaraj tractor was created green revolution in India, and it was enhanced the farmers' income in a 2 or 3 time multiplication way, or it has generated significantly to the Indian economy. And you will probably know that in this particular year, 2024, we are celebrating 50 years of Swaraj. Then small aircraft that is developed, one Hansa, that was developed by CSIR NAL. CSIR IGIB is basically dedicated towards research and development activities in genomic study, genome sequencing. CLRI is the world largest leather research institute. Then others like agrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, petroleum, petrochemicals, and chemical. In this particular domain, CSIR has contributed a lot towards development of the society. So defense is an important sector in India. So that's why after formation of CSIR in the year of, or in the post-independence area, in the year of 1958, basically DRDO was formed, Defense Research and Development Organization. And along with one additional organization has been formed in line with DRDO, and that is called as ADA, or Aeronautical Development Agency, in the year of 1994. So this particular Aeronautical Development Agency is basically dedicated its research towards development of various technology like light combat aircraft, Agni 1, Agni 2, this kind of missiles or surface to air missiles was basically developed by DRDO. And you all know that MiG-23, 27, this kind of electronic warfare system is also developed by DRDO. And presently DRDO is basically dedicating its research and development activity for development of various underwater warfare systems, such as underwater robotics systems, such as autonomous underwater vehicle, remotely operated vehicles like this. Next, ISRO, that Indian Space Research Organization, was also basically developed in the year of 1969 and 72 to carry out the research and development activities in the space and satellite domain. Okay, so you probably know the recent glorious and prestigious history of ISRO and benchmarking breakthrough technological development towards Chandrayaan or Mangalyaan. Okay. And apart from this, ultimately, another vertical, basically India is focusing, that is called as the atomic energy. And you know that Department of Atomic Energy is formed in the year of 1954 under the Atomic Commission that was developed in 1948. And Bhabha Atomic Research Center is one of the pioneering institute under the Atomic Energy or Department of Atomic Energy, basically carrying out the research and development activities in the domain of nuclear research. Okay, and then ultimately from the nuclear research, there is some industrial perspective. So that's why there are various PSU that is basically attached with the Department of Atomic Energy. One of the most important institute is Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, that is called as NPCIL, who is basically dedicating his industrial activity towards development of nuclear power in India. And in the right side, ultimately, you know that India has successfully tested his nuclear ability or nuclear power in the year of 1974 first, that is called as the Pokhran-1, and in the next in 1998 Pokhran-2 nuclear test was conducted, and that particular day, that means May 11, is basically celebrated as the National Technology Day. Now see, this slide is basically very important. What do you mean by science, engineering, technology, industries, and what are the correlation between them? So industries are classified in 3 ways. One is called as primary industry. Primary industry means those industry that is basically dependent upon the natural resources of any country. So if you consider India, agriculture is one of the most prime resource in the economy of India. So that's why agricultural industry in India is treated as the primary industry. So India is very rich in coal. So that was coal ministry or coal industries are also treated as the primary industry in India. Means whatever resources are available in your country, with the help of that resources, whatever industries are formed, that are called as the primary industry. Okay. Second, secondary industries means the byproduct, means there should be some byproduct of the primary industries, means some agricultural products, some products from the coal. So those industries which is basically handling the byproducts of the primary industries, those are called as the secondary industries. And third kind of industries, that is called as the tertiary industries, means which is providing the support service to the primary as well as the secondary industries. Those industries are called as the tertiary industries. Means suppose IT service. So you are probably know the effect of AI, ML, machine learning, artificial intelligence, then data storage, online data storage, this kind of IT innovation and interventions are carried out in modern day. So whatever output you are getting from industry, that is basically logged or stored in internet or in IoT system. So this kind of support service, those agencies who are providing the support service to the primary industry or the secondary industry is called as the tertiary industry. So you probably glad to know that in recent world, whatever development is basically carried out or going on, that is directly related to the tertiary industry. So whatever development you will see that in the industry of mobile, in the industry of IT, in IoT, AI, ML, so those all support is considered as the support service. So if you are contributing in the resource industries, which is basically formed with the resources of India, that is called as the primary industry. So different PSUs, that means public sector undertakings, they are basically handling either of the primary industries or the secondary industries of the India. So how scientific knowledge or the science, engineering and technology are different. So science means ultimately the basic knowledge that is coming from the equations, theory, that is called as the science or scientific knowledge. But scientific, what is the role of engineers? So engineers basically take the scientific knowledge to convert that knowledge into the technology. So that's why engineering field or engineering sector is very important in India. So what is the role of engineers? They will take the scientific knowledge and they will convert the scientific knowledge into the technology. What do you mean by technology? That particular engineering flavored scientific knowledge base that is basically utilized for the societal benefit. That is called as the technology. So ultimately, suppose the wireless communication, this particular theory, whenever you are studying, so this particular theory is called as science. So with this theory, if you are establishing any kind of base station, that is basically responsible for communicating between two mobile devices, this is called as the technology. So who is basically converting that science into the technology? The engineers. Okay. So that's why engineers are converting the scientific technology to the scientific knowledge to the industrial knowledge, so that industries can be formed or industries can benefit from this knowledge base. So how the industrial research or the research intermediate between the academic or scientific or academic or industry is basically carried out. So whenever you have generated any idea, rigorous research and development should be done. Means through some research and development, the idea or the scientific knowledge base is converted into the technology. So when the technology is formed, there are multiple industries, that should be private, that may be private or government industries. That private or government industries is basically hiring this particular technological knowledge base to form an industry so that benefit can be given to the society as well as to the industry. So what for that purpose, ultimately there are some parameters, there are some concepts that suppose for example, suppose someone has developed one concept of electric vehicle. So there are enormous number of electric vehicle existing in the country. Suppose someone proposing one electric rickshaw. So there are multiple number of electric rickshaw in the society that is running and going on. But if your concept is different from the existing concept or the technology from the market, that is creating some innovative knowledge base, and that innovative knowledge base either should be reflected in the term of economic effect or societal effect or environmental effect. Suppose someone is proposing one technology which is basically reducing the pollution level. So that is also a technology, that is also a innovation that has an environmental impact. Suppose someone is proposing some technological intervention which is basically reducing the production cost, then ultimately it will be called as the economic impact. Similarly, suppose if the technology is such a way it can uplift our society, a backward class, then ultimately the outcome is called as the societal impact. So whenever some idea is generated in the scientific community, then particularly that idea has to be benchmarked with the existing idea in the society or in your country or even in the world, so that innovativeness or the novelty can be identified. So in the academic section, the benchmarking, if you just consider this graph, with the time, ultimately the academic skill or the academic knowledge base is converted into the industrial knowledge base with due course of time. So whenever you are giving some time to your idea or your scientific idea, then it will passes through some validation, experimentation, rigorous testing. Then ultimately academic or scientific idea is basically converted into a technology, so that that particular technology can be acceptable in the society. Now, what are the measures? What are the measures? So there is a term that is called as the technology readiness level. So how you will mark the technology? So European Union basically normalized first this technology readiness level. This particular concept was proposed by NASA, and European Union basically formalized or normalized this concept, that depending upon the difficulties or depending upon the level, one particular concept is categorized in different level, and that is labeled as 1 to 9. So these particular levels are called as the technological readiness level, and this TRL basically the measures or the important factor for measuring the maturity level of any particular technology. Suppose you are studying various concept in your school, and ultimately you are converting your concept through some experimentation or model, scientific model. You are just also creating some scientific model in your school also. So where does this scientific knowledge is basically lie? Is it a technology or whether it is a concept only? So whenever you are just experimentally, you are just validating your concept in a rudimentary level or in a basic level, that is also a technology, but the readiness level is in the level of 1. That is not a full furnished product. Okay. So ultimately academic institutes, so if you see the academic institute are targeting the concept of the research in the technology readiness level 1 to 4. 1 to 4. 1 to 4 means some lab level. Up to 4 means technology ready level 4 means in the laboratory level you are validating your idea. So there are some laboratories in the academic institute. So whatever concept is generated, basically they are validated in the laboratory level. And that particular TRL level is called as TRL level 4 up to. Industry are basically dealing with the final and full furnished product. So ultimately, for the qualification mark of a fully furnished product, the technology has to be upgraded into the technology readiness level 8, 9 in this scale. So industry always dealing with the technology which is ready at the level of 8 or 9. So if we go to the previous slides, then this date value. So academic institute is TRL level 1 to 4. Industry is dealing with TRL level 8 to 9. So what are the role of the research institute or the R&D institute in India? They are basically dealing with the technology readiness level 4 to 7. And you probably know, or just it is pertinent to mention that technology readiness level 4 to 7 is the most difficult level in a technology life. So that's why it is called as the death valley. So whenever a concept is generated, it is tested in the laboratory level, you are getting some output. That's fine. Suppose I have developed one electric car in my research institute. I have developed one electric car. Now, someone is telling that I have tested my electric car with my own driving. So you know what are the loopholes of your technology. So whenever you are just experimenting your electric car with a driver as you, then